Hey guys, happy Friday. Happy Friday. Hopefully everyone has had a good week, hopefully uneventful. And looking forward to hanging out with you guys this evening, taking your lawn care questions, talking about your lawn care goals for 2021. I think I know what some of you guys are planning to do, but again, that's the theme for tonight. Of course, as always, if you have any lawn care questions, I've got a couple questions here about Carbon Pro that I'll get to here in a little bit that some viewers sent in ahead of time. But again, show's all about you and all about your lawn care questions, and us just having a good time talking about our goals. So let's see what we got tonight. So Green Dynamics Lawn Care has the honorable mention as being the first one, I think, in the live stream tonight. So welcome, Green Dynamics. And who else do we have here? We have Alan. We have Super TA. We've got the usual suspects. Let's see. We have JG. LG and Mr. Just call me Carbon Pro Carbon Pro LG, of course. Very, very cool. I like it. Let's see what else we have. Keishi, guys. Yeah, Keishi makes a good point. There we have how many viewers do we have right now? There's 26 people on the live stream and not that many likes, guys. So let's rectify that. Only 12 likes. Definitely definitely if you guys don't mind, hit the like button as you guys are coming in. You know, while you're settling down with your beverage of choice tonight, I am having some tasty lemonade as I hang out with you guys, and let's the algorithm know that you guys are having a good time. Let's see what else got here. Bo, Lawn Journey, Sunny Bermuda, and guys, the shirt that I am wearing tonight, before we get into the show, is I got this from Sunny Bermuda. It's Bermuda Brothers shirt because you know what? All the cool season guys, I mean, they got all the cool stuff, right? You know, they have their swag, their stickers, and Sunny Bermuda was kind enough to put together a shirt that has a lot of the Bermuda lawn care YouTubers. So trying to show some support. Rocking that tonight. So awesome shirt. Sunny, thanks you for getting out to me so quickly. And yeah, so that's what I'm wearing tonight. We got Grace on the lawn training and Moro, Brett's awesome. Yeah, Brett is here, guys. So now the show can start. Thank you, Brett. Thanks for letting me know because you're holding up progress. So I'm glad to see that you actually decided to come in and join the show. Brett is, here's the thing. Brett had an amazing, I'm not sure if he still has it anymore, but has an amazing cool season grass lawn. I think when he lived up north. And now he's going to be on here soon. He's going to be on the Bermuda Bros train here because I think he's got a Bermuda lawn that he and Alan just put down a couple weeks ago or whenever it was. But cool, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream last week. It was really awesome to have Alan on, and I think you guys really enjoyed having another perspective. So I'm gonna try and do more of that in the future. I'm gonna try and get other YouTubers that don't mind being on camera, that want to hang out and take lawn care questions from the community to do that. Because I think you guys really enjoy that versus just only seeing me. So tonight again, guys, what we're talking about are mainly lawn care goals, along with any other questions that you guys have. So one of the questions that and we'll see if he comes in tonight, but one of the points that was raised ahead of time was from Lake House Lawn Care. I'm not sure if he's in the chat as yet, but Lake House Lawn Care reached out to me on Instagram, and he had a question about top dressing and sand. His question was after you top dress, should you get the reel resharpened? And the answer to that question is twofold. In a nutshell, the short answer is yes. If you're going to maintain the same height of cut, let's say you're cutting your grass at say 1/2 inch, right? And you top dress the lawn. Obviously, whenever you put the mower back on the turf, the likelihood of you getting into that sand and dulling the bed knife is a lot higher. So your options are, go ahead and cut it the same height at 1/2 inch, and then resharpen the reel and bed knife. Take the mower in for service once the grass grows in, or you can do what I did last year. So whenever I top dressed my lawn when we were doing Alex's in July, before that I was cutting at 1/2 inch, and then post top dressing I went up to 3/4 of an inch. I went to 0.70, 0.75 inches, and that was enough to keep the reel and bed knife out of the sand. So Lake House, I'm not sure if you're on right now, but I mean, the answer to your question is it depends on you. You can, if you're fine with raising the height of cut, you don't necessarily have to take the mower and get service done to it. But if you decide you're going to keep the same height of cut, you are going to have to more than likely take the reel, take the mower in and get some work done to it. So just something to keep in mind. Let's see let's hear what everyone's lawn care goals are. I'm sure Brett's goal is to create a lawn that dominates in the Florida area. He's getting on the Bermuda train, not all that St. Augustine. I always have trouble saying that. I say St. Augustine almost like Augustus, but it's St. Augustine, right? So But yeah, it's going to be really cool to see what all the cool content, all the interactions I get from you guys over the course of 2021 to see what you guys end up doing with your lawns. So Super TA had an interesting comment here. He says, so his goal for 2021 is to get a powered reel mower and get his height of cut to 1/2 inch in March and April, raise it up to 3/4 of an inch in May, and then June through August, raise it up to 1 inch to 1.25 inches. That's interesting, Super TA. So for me, I don't really change the height of cut throughout the season. So like this year, the only reason why I went up to 0.75 is because of top dressing. This upcoming year, I'm probably not going to do that. I'm going to cut it at point. I'm going to try and maintain the lawn at 1/2 inch, and I'm just going to bite the bullet and either cut it with the TruCut until the grass grows in, or just take the mower in and have it resharpened afterwards. But it seems like you have a plan here where you're going to start low and then slowly ramp it up, which is cool. That is like the traditional way of dealing with your grass, especially as it gets hotter and the grass starts growing more aggressively. But if you are if you're considering PGR, or if you're something you'd be open to, you wouldn't necessarily have to raise the height of cut quite so much, as the season progresses. And also some of it also is based on your ability to mow, right? So, people always ask, well, how often should I mow my grass? And really a lot of that is driven by the height of cut you're trying to maintain. Like if you're trying to maintain 1 inch, as an example, right? Cutting off 1/3 means that you're cutting off 0.33 inches or so thereabouts off the turf. So, it takes longer for the grass to grow 1/3 of an inch than if you're cutting it, say 1/2 inch to grow, 0.16, 0.17. So height of cut also weighs a lot into that. So it just depends on you, man. If you're able to mow more frequently and you're also willing to use PGR, you probably wouldn't have to raise the grass up that much, the mower up that much throughout the season. But again, it's totally up to you. Depends what your goals are. I mean, you can probably start at 1/2, and then towards the end, you can go up to 3/4, maybe 1 inch if you're, if you're not be able to, if you miss a week from mowing or something along those lines. But it's not strictly necessary, especially if you're using PGR. Let's see. So who else we got in the live stream here? So Lawn Journeys is in. LG is wearing his Stripe Action t-shirt. I like it. That's good, man. Congratulations, LG. That's awesome that the missus got you some swag, and I'm sure you are wearing it with pride. Grace is in the house. LG says, should I be concerned my wife doesn't look at me favorably unless I am wearing the Stripe Action t-shirt? Dude, here's the thing though. Ladies like a good lawn. Like, if you're out there laying down, that Stripe Action when you're out there with the mower, I mean, she takes note, and having the shirt, even though you can't mow right now, I think you're up somewhere in the Midwest, and you're probably covered in snow right now. So it's a reminder of things to come once spring comes back around. So hey, there are definitely worse things. Let's see. On a Lawn Training is in the house. Around the house with Pat's here. Moro, JG, cool. Very, very, very cool. And JG's goal is an interesting goal. She says her goal for 2021 is to learn to use the Greensmaster. That's awesome. The Greensmaster is a little bit intimidating compared to other reel mowers when you first start using it. Like, coming from a TruCut, I got spoiled with the ability to have the reel fully engaged and have the drive system operated independently of that. So you kind of can slip the drive system and kind of just get the mowing pace you want. With the Greensmaster, not so much. Just once it's locked in, it's going, right? I mean, I guess you technically could kind of like not fully engage the drive system, but it's really not designed to be operated that way. But once you get used to it, get used to just, when you drop the traction drive and your the mower's going, you actually it's actually not that bad. If you do it long enough, you'll get to the point where you can do like whip turns without actually having to disengage the drive between different passes. So it's just practice. Like anything else, you'll be able to you'll pick it up. You'll pick it up. Just make sure you have like someone to show you the ropes when you first start out, but you will be just fine, I am sure. Let's see. So yeah, Brett, man, thanks for coming into that. I appreciate it. Papa Lowe's Mows in the house. Jeremy White, Mr. Going to get the career in information security. It's a good field to be in. Is in the house. The Lawn Junkie. And yeah, man, great group, guys. Awesome. And let's see. So Brett's Grass Space says, I am a Bermuda bro now. Because Brett has a specialized type of Bermuda. I think is it like Bimini or some kind of special Bermuda that you got? It's really, really good. Like if you guys have not checked out Brett's channel, check it out, because I think he did his first mow. I think he released a video earlier this week. And I gotta tell you, For grass that was just recently sodded, it's looking good. Like the stripe action is going to be strong with this lawn. I have decreed it to be so. The stripe action is going to be really good on his lawn, and Brett obviously knows what he's doing. So the lawn is gonna be pretty awesome. I'm really looking forward to seeing. I'm sure he's not gonna disclose all his plans, but I imagine a top dressers in the future, and then the domination level is going to be at an all-time high. So really looking forward to seeing what you end up doing there. SoCal Lawn in Order says, great video earlier today, Ron. Excellent points for all lawn types. Thanks, man. That's one of my goals for this year too, right? So as you guys know, like I haven't, like in the last couple of weeks, or like really most of December and up to now, I've been posting a video to YouTube like literally like around once a week or so, mainly because most of my time is being consumed, my free time anyway, is being consumed with scripting and filming videos for the upcoming course. Here, which you can find out at golfcourselawn.com. So, but the one thing I really wanted to change this year in my content, even though I'm a Bermuda guy, a warm season grass guy, I wanted to start putting out content that is applicable to everyone. Like, so that's why like the video today that I released on the 3 tips for improving your lawn and things that you can do right now. I said, at a high level, at a macro level, what are the things you absolutely got to get right, regardless of whether you got, Bermuda, which is the master grass. We all know this. But if you have one of these other grasses that's not Bermuda and you still need some help, you want to, get a nice looking lawn, what can we, what kind of, knowledge can I pass on that can help out with that? And the things that apply to any kind of grass, right, is one, grass, regardless of what all the bags at Home Depot may say, like shade tolerant grass is not really a thing. I mean, there are some grasses that do better in shade than others, but all grass does better with sunlight. And then follow that up with good soil, because soil is incredibly important. Last time I checked, I have not seen grass growing in midair or in a bag of fertilizer. It grows in dirt in the soil. So making sure the soil's in great shape is super important. And then finally, it's the thing that most people don't want to hear about is mowing, right? Like the one thing that you really got to do a lot of if you want to have an amazing lawn is just cut it a lot, right? So I put that one for last because I figured if I say mowing first, even though it is among the most important, I mean, shade is probably the most important if I had to think about it, right? Because even if you have decent soil and you're mowing, but if you're growing it under like a huge oak tree, your grass is not going to grow. So I think I did them in the order of importance. Make sure you got adequate sunlight, make sure you got decent soil, and then cut your grass a lot. But I figured if I led out with mowing, most people are going to be like, that sounds terrible. I don't want to do that. So I save the pain part for the end of the video once they kind of bought into cutting down, portions of trees and getting some soil testing done. So we'll see how it goes. That's we'll see. It was a fun video to make. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Let's see. What other questions do we have, or who else do we have in the live stream? Yeah, Alan is confirming that Brett's got Bimini Bermuda. Here's the thing. Brett's got to go. He's got to go all exotic. I've never even heard of Bimini before I saw that video of what they put down. Him and Alan, man, they got to be special and extra. Okay, let's see. Who else we have in the live stream? Lawn Journeys is here. Hey, Stan, thanks for coming in. Thank you for the shirt. Don't thank me for the shirt. The shirt is from Sunny Bermuda. So if you are want to get one of these, I think reach out. Sunny, I'm not sure where they can get one, but feel free to drop it in the chat where someone can order one if they want one, or reach out to him on Instagram. He will hook you up. So next question we have tonight is from Leon Harris. He says, how long does it take you to cut your lawn? It depends, Leon. If I'm just being lazy and I'm just making one pass, like I'm just cutting, I'm not double cutting it, or I'm not going over certain areas more than once, I can cut the entire lawn in about 45 to 50 minutes. If I edge, that adds another 10 minutes or so, edging and blowing. So even though the lawn is fairly large, it's almost 12,000 square feet, it doesn't take that long, because the one thing you have to look notice about my lawn, if you guys look in the videos, is there's not a ton of obstacles, right? Like the rock that's in the back lawn, like that's the one thing I really got to mow around. That, and then the fence between Alex and me, and then in the front there's like the mailbox and trees and stuff. But I mean, for the most part, the lawn is fairly open. There's not like a ton of trees and other stuff to get around, which speeds up mowing. Like literally, with the Greensmaster, it being 26 inches, I just, like set my pass, decide on my just path of cut, and it's good to go. So, again, to answer your question, under an hour easily. If I'm double cutting it, obviously it's going to take a little bit longer. Double cutting probably adds 25-30 minutes to it. But yeah, it's not bad at all. Not as bad as you would think. Let's see. So Jason, I'm missing the first part of your question. You're saying you're expanding the treated area to 20,000 square feet. What was the first part of your question that I obviously missed? If you can just repeat that again, I can I'll you know talk to it, but I'm not exactly sure what you mean by 20,000 square feet. And the lawn rookie saying, "Hey, you're a rookie. You're new to this. You're taking it all in." Well, dude, we were all rookies. I got to tell you, like, I mean, many moons ago when I really was starting to get into this, and I was watching like Alan's videos and learning about the importance of minimizing herbicides in your lawn, importance of mowing, and all the stuff that he was always talking about. Everyone starts somewhere, and if you've not yet, definitely get your if you're considering it, get a YouTube channel going. And it's, if anything, even if you don't do it from a standpoint of you're trying to grow a big following, it's an awesome way to document the progress of your lawn. That's how I started mine. Like, literally, when I started my YouTube channel, I had no intentions of it turning into what it's turned into. It was literally just a means for me to document like how the lawn transformed in a way that like didn't mean having a bunch of videos on my hard drive that I might lose. I figure, hey, have them on YouTube, and that way they'll always be around. I can always look at them. And you never know where it's going to take you. So don't, if you're just stick with it, mow your grass a lot. And yeah, that's everyone starts somewhere. So it's cool to hear that you're starting out. Oh, let's see. So so-called law and order is his goal for 2021 is to keep the Kentucky bluegrass going all season in SoCal summer heat. Yeah, that's going to be a challenge, man. So there's a viewer. He hasn't been commenting in the videos lately, but his name is like Tomco or Tom. I think his name is Thomas. And he has a Kentucky bluegrass lawn, and he was sending me pictures of it in, I want to say it was like late June, July. And with the heat, it was rough. Like, unless you're willing to spend a lot of money on water, it's gonna be a challenge to keep Kentucky bluegrass. When I say green, it's say green, but just to keep it really vibrant all season. That's gonna be the challenge. Like, there's a big church nearby here that has tall fescue, and they, during the summer, like every time you drive by, their water is running, irrigation is running all the time. So it's be cool to find out if you're able to pull it off. You might try some kind of wetting agent or something to try and help with hydration, keeping the turf from drying out. But it's gonna be an interesting challenge. Cool, definitely a cool goal. Let's see here. What else do we have? Alan's goal is that all 25,000 square feet of mine will look better than yours, Ron, but that means I'll have to be at quarter inch to 0.5 inch from my head of cut. Definitely, man. I mean, 25,000 square feet would be a lot to real mow, be twice like what I'm doing. But yeah, it's a cool goal to have, and you should absolutely go for it. Actually, let me take care of a super chat here. Leandro has given me a super chat.
Super chat received.
Thank you so much, Leandro. He says his or her goal is to scalp the common overseed with hybrid, no frost in 9B. I think that's the zone that you're in. So I guess your question is, should I scalp common overseed with hybrid and no frost? So if you are going to overseed your Bermuda, so again, because the series that I shot the last part of the year, where I was showing the dormancy rates between 2.419 and Arden 15, was really something I did so that anytime anyone asks like what to expect, like what are the negative points of like overseeding Bermudas, different types of your common Bermuda with other types of Bermuda, are the color differences. If you're going to do it, because this is something I'm going to do myself in the spring, once soil temps get above 60, 65 degrees, when they're like, I can get decent germination. I'm going to do kind of what you're talking about here. So if you're going to your goal is to overseed, scalping is a good idea. Like getting the lawn shorter, so you're able to get more sunlight down to the turf. If you can, like what I'm planning to do as well, is to use a plant growth regulator on the lawn after I scalp it. Reason being is I don't want the turf, existing grass, to come back too aggressively. I want to give the seeds that I'm putting in as good options as possible to do well. So my process is going to be to scalp the lawn, verticut it, aerate it, put down some kind of organic material. It's probably going to be CarbonPro G, but I haven't fully decided yet. And then overseed and top dress, and then just run a lot of irrigation for several weeks until I get germination. That's my plan to try and get the best possible germination. It's going to be a little more expensive because it's going to mean like running a lot of irrigation and also all the machinery that's involved in doing that. But hey, it's going to make for cool content for you guys to see how the process looks, and we'll see if if it ends up producing a better result by going through all that. But I mean, it's the one thing I will tell you, the one thing you haven't listed here, you haven't talked about herbicides or anything like that. But if your plan is to overseed your lawn, like after you watch that series that I did on Tifway versus Arden, if you decide you still want to do it, the one thing that you're going to want to make sure of in the spring is to not put down any kind of pre-emergent. Like if you have a lawn care service that's putting chemicals on your lawn, ask them to not put down a pre-emergent, since that is going to materially affect the kind of germination rates you get. Now, the negative to that is you're probably going to get more weeds in your lawn than you otherwise might had you had pre-emergent down. But it's like you have to give up something to get, right. So it's like if your goal is to overseed and really make sure that's going to do well, you can't put down pre-emergent, but it's a temporary thing, and then you'll have a lawn that looks the way you want it to look. So again, thank you for the super chat. Great question and great point. And let me know how your lawn develops. If I can help with anything, definitely let me know. Let's see what other points, what other questions do we have here? Kevin D. Jones, his goal is to install irrigation and level this year. Very, very nice. And then lastly, getting your soil right. Okay, so Kevin, I have to chime in here. You're saying now I would be working on getting your soil right now. Like you get a soil test done now, man, because there's some things that you can start fixing now that are going to help you in the springtime. So like if you're not getting a soil test yet, get a soil test done, because say your pH is not where it needs to be, you can fix that kind of stuff now. So when temps come up and the grass comes out of dormancy, you can hit the ground running. Everything else looks pretty good. And if you are looking for a soil test, the one that I recommend is the one from My Soil. You can get one right here, ron-henry.com/soil test. It's the My Soil test kit. If I can do this without looking, I can. Looks like this. Super easy to use. Actually, in the video that I released today, there's going to be a link in it that actually will show you exactly how to use that. So the only thing I would say in your process is I would work on getting your soil right now. And then irrigation and leveling are also obviously great goals. It definitely makes taking care of the lawn a lot easier when you have irrigation in. Let's see. Chris has said, this will be my lawn's second season. I have lots of dips and bulbs. I really want to top dress it, and also researching powered reel mowers. Very cool, Chris. Here's the thing. You do not have to top dress your lawn to get a powered reel mower. Like if you want to, have a lower height of cut, like if you're trying to cut the lawn really under an inch, you're going to want to have it top dressed. It's going to look better. You're going to have less scalping. It's just going to be, you're going to get a better experience overall. But this those are pretty cool. Pretty cool goals. And Sunny Bermuda, yes, to answer your question, yes, I did scalp my lawn to bring it down before top dressing, but I need to qualify that. So in the back, I did scalp it. So I took it down to just until like the reel was starting to get into dirt, and raised it up just a notch. On the front lawn, where I have a slope, and it's something that's important for you guys to know that are dealing with a slope. Whereas the conventional wisdom says whenever you're top dressing, take the lawn down to, scalp it really low and then top dress over it because you're going to get a better result, which is true. However, if you're dealing with a slope, like I like to have leave the grass a little bit longer. Like on my front lawn, I let the grass get between like 3/4 of an inch to an inch. I let it get a little taller. The reason for that is that with my slope, if I took it down to like what I did in the back lawn and I got rain, I'm going to have a lot of runoff. Like the very first time my lawn was top dressed, I had a lot of issues where every time it rained, like I'd be out there the next day trying to like take the sand and throw it back up on the hill and try and level it all off again. This year when I did, I let it get last year when I let the lawn the grass get a little bit longer and then top dress it, the grass just acts as, it helps hold the soil, the material in place a little bit better. So yes, to answer your question, I absolutely did that. But for anyone else that's considering top dressing, if you're dealing with a slope, leave that grass just a little bit longer, and you'll thank me if you get a heavy rain when you don't lose all the material. It doesn't all wash down the hill. But yeah, absolutely, Sunny, I did do that. Let's see. On the lawn training, it says goals are to improve your soil. Thanks, Teron. I have dreams about soil test results. It's really not that bad, man. I mean, soil testing is like, it's not fun. It's not as fun as like going and throwing down fertilizer or like some iron, and in a couple of days you're seeing your lawn turn nice and vibrant green. And so as far as like seeing a response, you don't really get that from soil testing. But given the fact that one of these things really only costs $30, and if you're doing it quarterly, like, it's a no-brainer for anyone that's serious about their lawn, in my opinion. Because like whenever you get on like Yard Mastery or any of the other online stores and you're trying to find a quality fertilizer for your turf, and you're like just thinking, what should I put down on my lawn? Like, this literally gives you the answers to the test. It's like having to take a test and you're getting the answers to the test from this. So you know exactly what to apply, which is going to allow you to get the best result. So, even though soil testing is not, it's kind of like the redheaded stepchild, is not often talked and spoken about a lot, I am a huge fan of it because I like to make decisions based on data, especially when it comes to like stuff like fertilizer, which is expensive, So do not feel weird that you are having dreams of soil test results. This is a good thing. This is a good thing. All right. Let's see. So we have Papalo's Mow. He says he's new too and he watched many videos, started getting confused on all the products, what to use. My goal is to learn what products to use, what product to do, and what to use. Yeah, I mean that's a great goal, Papa Mo's Low. There's a lot of great content out there that shows applying different products. Again, not to kind of go back to soil testing, but like to understand what the product labels means to your soil. Like when you start looking at soil test results a lot, it's going to help with that. Like, what you hear people talking about, adjusting their pH or putting in like a calcium or something or it's like a lime or something to raise soil pH. Like, what does that really mean, and how does that work out into like overall soil health? If you look at the one thing that's really nice about the results from my soil is literally the way that they list the parameters, like what your results are. They're listed in order of importance. So like soil pH and the macronutrients like NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and then your lesser, like your mid crows almost, and then your micronutrients, right? So it's, using soil tests or getting used to doing that on a regular basis is going to get you better at understanding like what's in products and how they're going to impact your turf. I mean, it's really not terribly bad. I mean, the big things are to understand the macros, and then understanding that based on your soil test results, what micronutrients your soil is lacking, and then just get a product that fits that need. So again, that's why it's like why I'm a huge fan of soil testing, is that it gives you the answers to the test. Like literally, you can look at this and you're saying, okay, I'm missing this, this, and this. So let me get on, Yard Mastery or somewhere else and find the answers to the question, and just do that, right? So it'll help you get better faster if you start incorporating that. And let's see. So, oh boy, here we go. And I have a question that's going to get me in trouble here. But so Helmet Ruckus has the question of Swardman or Greensmaster for my 3,500 square foot Zoysia lawn. I like the interchangeable cartridge, but I am not sure about the cut. Okay, so here's the thing. The Swardman, as far as flexibility, right? So the ability to get a really good cut, the ability to verticut your lawn, to dethatch your lawn. If you decide to top dress, there's like a brush attachment you can put on the mower. As far as like one mower to rule them all, that does a little bit of everything, it's a great option. Now, if you're saying like, I don't care, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna rent like a verticutter, and I just want the absolute best possible cut that I can possibly get, then a Greensmaster or a John Deere is what you need to go for. The thing you should realize though is that saying Swardman and Greensmaster is not really a fair comparison. You got to realize, like a brand new, even though we get them for cheaper price at a reasonable price, like we buy them pre-owned, like a Greensmaster brand new is well over $10,000. Versus Swardman brand new is around, I don't know exact pricing, but I think you can probably go up for under $3,000. So you're talking about really two different classes of machine, and that also have two different design philosophies. Like the Greensmaster is designed to produce a very, very tight cut and to maintain that cut like consistently. Like literally when I set my Greensmaster up for 0.70 after top dressing, like literally when I changed it and I made that video on showing you guys like how to change the height of cut on a Greensmaster, it was exactly the same. Like it hadn't changed at all in months of cutting. So it's just a different class of system. That's the best way I can put it. But just know that the Swardman cuts really well. Like if I'm going to rate the mowers, like I have a Greensmaster and I also have a TruCut. I still have to install the grooved roller on the TruCut, and this may change my answer after I do that. But if I had to rate them, I'd put the TruCut as far as quality of cut goes. The TruCut is here. I'd put the Swardman above it because of two reasons. One, the roller system that's on it, and also you have that drum, so you get better stripes. You don't have the issue with the TruCut where you burn like grooves into the turf as you're mowing with it. And then above that is the Greensmaster. But again, you really can't really talk about them in the same space because you're talking about two completely different classes of machines. The long short of it is you're going to be happy with either one. If I were going to buy one mower right now, if I were starting all over, the Swordsman would really be a really good value proposition. I might consider it over like picking up a TruCut instead. So because of just of all the flexibility that you get with it, you get so many machines all in one. So how's that for a non-answer answer? You're going to be fine with either one, man. The guys, I know the guys at Real Rollers that are the dealers for Swardman, Lee, Andrew, and Eric. They're really good guys. They'll take care of you. You're not going to be unhappy with either one. If you're in the Georgia area, go check them out. They'll let you mow with them on their turf park they have set up there, so you can they'll help with your decision. So Jeremy has a question. He says, Ron, hope all is well. Wondering about, should I keep my rotary mower for scalping purposes only? I just took the plunge and you bought a California trimmer. Nice. Congratulations, sir. But we all know how hard scalping is on the mower. Yeah. So if you still have a rotary, I'd keep it for a couple of reasons, man. So the one thing that I've got to figure out this year, and I'm going to probably have to see if I can get my hands on a rotary. It's just to borrow. If for nothing else, rotaries are good for cleanup work. So let's say you go out and you aerate your lawn, right? There's going to be plugs all over the lawn when you do that. Your options are like what I typically do: just run over them with the real mower and break them up, and they'll eventually dry out and break up on their own. Or you can break out the rotary and run over all the plugs with the rotary and pick them up if you decide to do that. But even for another case is, say you decide you're going to verticut your lawn. Like verticutting, when I've had it done on my lawn before, it creates a colossal mess. You're talking about tons of like grass clippings and material just all over the place. And literally, I was out there raking it up for a while. It just creates a huge mess. But if you had a rotary and you had a bag, you could easily go out there and make a pass over the lawn and use it as almost like a vacuum cleaner to clean up. So I say all that to say that I would probably still keep your rotary. You can use it for scalping purposes. That's obviously a good reason too. But outside of scalping, there's a lot of reasons to have a rotary around because if you're gonna be kind of hard on a piece of equipment, I'd probably quicker do that to a rotary mower than a real mower. Not saying that rotary mowers don't deserve respect and love. Like, I mean, they make really good ones, but I mean, in like price difference and also just the hassle associated with getting maintenance work done to it. Like a rotary, you can go out and buy a new lawnmower blade, throw it on, and you're good to go. With a real mower, getting the blade sharpened is more of an event. You got to send it out and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, the long short of it is I would keep your rotary. If I had one, I would be able to make use of it this year, even though I have no intentions of ever cutting my lawn with a rotary mower. It has other purposes that are really, really good. Let's see. Lawn Engineer says, got any videos on how to maneuver a greens mower? Tips and tricks to operating one of those big machines. You know what? That would be a great video that I could make, even with the lawn being dormant. I can do that. I can do a video on that. That'd be cool. I can't do it just yet because right now the mower is out. The mower left me, guys. I'm down to one mower right now. The greens mower is picked up by the fine folks at Jerry Pate yesterday, and it's off getting all freshened up for the season. But when I get it back, that's a great idea, Lawn Engineer. I will make a video showing how to, how the operations go and how I do like whip turns and all this kind of stuff. I mean, granted, you're going to see it on dormant grass, but it'll give you an idea of what to expect. So that's a good idea. That's a really, really cool idea. Let's see. JG saying she's afraid it'll pull her all over the lawn. You'll get it, man. It's not that bad. It's really not that bad to use a greens mower. They're not too bad. Hey, Daryl, thanks for checking in, man. Congrats again on winning the Brand Supreme Green. Congrats on that. And let's see what other questions we have here. Let's see. So Leandro says, what do you think about scalping common Bermuda and overseeding with a hybrid seed? I think I answered that one already. But yes, I think we've already gone over that, but I think it's a good idea. Mine was not common, but I did it, right? So I've done exactly what you're thinking about. The big thing you need to be concerned about Leandro, is you are going to see some color differences. So, especially while it's growing in, so when the lawn's going into dormancy or coming out of dormancy, depending on how good a job you do with overseeding, you're going to have some color differences that you have to deal with. Said Toro, said Toro, hey, thanks for checking in. Pacific Northwest Lawn, Brett, who never heard of her. Now you guys are just, I don't understand what it is with Brett. Everyone, like wherever Brett goes, because it's not only my live stream. When he was over on Princess Cuts on George's, there's like a group of people that follow Brett around to torment him. I don't know what it is you've done, Brett, that causes this, but I don't know, man. You may have to think about your life choices, because it seems like there's a lot of people that just that live to harass you in live streams. All right, let's see what other questions we have here. So Casey says, half my lawn is Bermuda from the golf course, and the other half is Centipede. My goal is grading the soil and getting all Bermuda. Any suggestions on removing the Centipede? There are herbicides that you can use that will target Centipede, but I am not sure of ones that will kill Centipede and not also make the Bermuda incredibly upset. Bermuda is probably a little bit more aggressive than Centipede, Casey. So, that's a good question. I don't know exactly what advice I can tell you to get rid of the Centipede while allowing the Bermuda to spread. Bermuda is just super aggressive. You never know. Maybe you figure if you verticut, or you really beat up or do some things to stunt the ability for the Centipede to grow and push growth on the Bermuda, that might help. That might help it, try and spread more. I can tell you, the shorter you keep Bermuda cut, the more it tends to creep. So probably in the section where the Centipede and the Bermuda meet, keeping that cut a little tighter and doing things to suppress growth on the Centipede could help it spread a little bit sooner. But you may end up having to do plugs into the Centipede to kind of give the Bermuda a head start to kind of spread and give the Centipede a hard time. It's an interesting problem. Sorry, I don't have a better answer for you on that one. Let's see here. Let me go back. I think I had a super chat here from Kay. She's super. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the generosity.
Super chat received.
And let's see what other questions we have here. Danielle Ferris says, Bermuda is fully brown, green, grassy weeds around the perimeter areas. This was Poa Annua last year, but I don't see the same heads now. What should I spray on over this winter? So if it's already up, Daniel, you're gonna have to use some kind of a post-emergent. It depends, man. It depends on what you want to put down. You can use like the orange label Spectracide. That I believe will target POA and will knock it out. But it just depends on how much it is. If it's a small amount, if it's not too much, I don't know. I mean, I am. When it comes to herbicides, I'm not a huge fan of putting herbicides down on my turf for just small, for like, a little bit here and there. Unless you're dealing with a lot of POA, like you've got infestation of it, I might look at other means of getting rid of it. You can always manually weed the stuff, but the stuff that I would recommend if you are going to put down a product, I want to say that this one does take care of POA. Let me show you here. Let's see. I think Spectracide will do that, but this is a great herbicide that's relatively easy to apply. Let me put this up here. It's relatively easy to apply. That might help you with that. So just something to consider. You can find that at like your local big box store. If you're if it's something you want to really get rid of and you really think you need some kind of a herbicide to get rid of it. All right. Let's see what else we have here. So it's getting a lesson on Bimini. It says Bimini came from the Southwest Florida, Glen Zacany with Bethel Farms. Okay, so it's an engineered type of Bermuda, but it makes sense because I think Brett's in Florida, so that makes sense that he would be using that. Let's see what other questions we have here. Static Alpha's in the house, and he says, hey, Ron, I see you only level the lawn with sand. I'm thinking of going 50-50 sand and organic compost to improve soil health. What do you think? That can work. I would probably bias a little bit more towards a 70-30 mix. Reason being is you don't want, if your goal is to level the lawn, which is supposed to be real, like you want to improve soil health, but you're also trying to level the lawn when you go through the trouble of top dressing, right? And with a 50-50 mix, within a year, 18 months, that organic material is going to break down and you're going to get a lot of the bumps that you had before back. Going with 70-30 or going with an organic material like CarbonPro G, something like that, and then doing 100% sand is another option that is going to allow you to introduce some organic material to kind of improve soil health while also maintaining the level a little bit better. So if it were me, I would do 70-30. Again, 50-50 is probably going to be fine, but 70-30, I think you're going to get a better result with over a longer period of time versus going with that. See other questions. Thomas BS has a question, says, do you do consulting? I guess it depends on what kind of consulting you're asking for, Thomas. I mean, if you have, I guess, shoot me an email here, if I can find my email address, ron@golfcourselawn.com. Shoot me an email there, what you're looking for, what you're thinking, and I'll do my best to help you out. But yeah, man, yeah, I mean, the reason for the channel, also reason for the course I'm putting together, is all about helping people improve their lawns. So if you have any kind of a question, feel free to just to reach out to me. All right, so Gary Gale says, hey, Ron, do you think it's a good idea to put down any kind of liquid fertilizer right now? Celebration Bermuda, I live in Florida. Celebration is an awesome, awesome Bermuda type, man. So I'm personally not, because right now the lawn is largely dormant, and most, not all, but most liquid fertilizers are designed to be absorbed by the leaf foliarly, right? So I mean, if you're in Florida, so I don't know if what state your Bermuda's in. Is your Bermuda dormant? If it's dormant, I would probably go granular. If it's not dormant, then you could use a liquid product if you want. Again, it's not like it's going to be necessarily a bad thing, but you don't get as much benefit out of it when the grass is completely dormant. And because you said you have Bermuda and it's like wintertime, I'm assuming that it's dormant. But if not, yes, you could absolutely use a liquid fertilizer. Like a good example, like I've been putting down the granular CarbonPro G monthly. In December, I did not put down the liquid, the CarbonPro L. I could have, but I just opted not to. Starting next month, I didn't do it in December, and I didn't do it this month. But starting in February, I'll start reintroducing that again. Partially because like what's in CarbonPro L is also that microbial package, and with the soil temps where they are now, like they're in the 40s and 30s, like there's not going to be a whole lot of benefit of doing that. And because the stuff's expensive, I'd rather just put it down whenever I know or a lot more likely to get some benefit out of it. So the answer to your question is it depends, I guess, is the best thing. I would probably be more apt to go with a granular product at this point, but if your grass just is not dormant, a liquid can work just fine. It's all dependent on the state of your grass. Let's see. So Mower has a question about top dressing. How thick can we go? He says, how thick can we go while top dressing a common Bermuda? I plan on overseeding with Arden 15. So the idea with it, Moro, is you don't want to fully submerge the grass. A quarter of an inch to somewhere between a quarter of an inch to half inch is about the max I would ever do when it comes to top dressing. And a lot of that is based on how low you take the grass down as you're preparing to top dress. The idea is you do not want to submerge the grass. I mean, Bermuda, you're not going to kill it. But it's just going to take a lot longer to recover, and it's just like you'd be better off doing multiple light top dressings than one super heavy one. Because here's the thing: if the grass is here and you fully cover it over, a couple of problems with that is, one, the grass is going to take longer to recover because it's not getting any sunlight, and then second, if there's any kind of heavy rain, like the ability for the grass to hold that top dressing material in place is going to be a lot reduced because there's not really any grass that's woven into the top dressing mix. So I would go to the point where you can still see, I mean, there will be a few parts that are fully submerged, just barely, but overall on the lawn, you should still see grass, the tops of the grass sticking out. Like if you take a look at Alex's lawn, take a look at my lawn from this past season. Like I've got tons of videos on top dressing, just like, YouTube, Ron Henry top dressing. There's going to be a bunch of videos that'll come up, and you can see how my lawn was. That's a good balance of coverage of doing like a relatively heavy top dressing, but not submerging the grass. That's going to cause a problem with recovery. So the best answer is it depends. It depends on how short you're cutting the grass, and also depends on the slope that you're dealing with, but overall general guidance is do not submerge the grass. In other words, if you send me a picture of your lawn after top dressing it, the entire lawn should not look like the beach. You know what I mean? That would be bad. I mean, Bermuda, again, you could get away with it, but it's not the correct way to do it. And you're just, it's going to take longer for the lawn to bounce back. So I I would not wouldn't go too heavy. Again, take a look at the videos that I've done on top dressing, and that'll give you an idea of what to expect. Brooklyn Boy says, I hate winter seeds. Can I treat them? I live in Texas. I guess winter weeds, you're saying? Yeah, I mean, you can, but it depends on what kind of weeds you're dealing with. I mean, depending on the weed you're dealing with is going to dictate which kind of herbicide, what kind of post-emergent herbicide you use, Brooklyn Boy. Here's the thing. You know, you may get a few weeds here and there during the wintertime, but as soon as the lawn wakes up again, as soon as the Bermuda wakes up again and it's growing vigorously, a lot of these weeds that can live when it's cool are going to get choked out, they're going to die off. So, you know, unless you're dealing with a huge infestation, you're trying to get rid of it, like I would probably let it go. Like I've seen a couple of I've seen little tufts of green here and there in my lawn. And what I'll do when I'm walking it, I'll either just pull it, and just do that. Like I'm not going to go out and put herbicide on my lawn in the wintertime, because the weeds that'll grow are growing now, that are living right now, as soon as temps get higher and the Bermuda wakes up and starts to size, it's going to flex on the weeds. They're going to go away. So in other words, I would not spray herbicides every time you have weeds on your lawn. You have to kind of look at, you know, what is you're trying to achieve. Like I would not want to have weeds in my lawn when it's green and growing nicely, but during the wintertime, like one here and there, I'm not going to go too crazy on that. So, but to answer your question specifically, depending on the weed you're dealing with, we need to find out what post type herbicide we can use to kill them if you decide you want to go that route. Do not use like Roundup or any kind of glyphosate on your grass. You know, some people say you can do it when it's dormant. I would not do that. I think it's a bad idea. But hopefully that helps. Jose A has a question about pre-emergent. He says, when should I put down pre-emergent? I want to do a split treatment. Can you put down pre-emergent in flower beds? Side note, I just put down my first treatment of CarbonPro G, 4 bags on 10K square feet. Sweet, man. So that's a little bit heavier application, because I'm at 12,000 and I do 4 bags. So you went a little heavy, which is nothing wrong with that. As far as pre-emergent, I mean, as soon around here, they're going to start doing it really next month in February. So really before soil temps get above 50 degrees, which is when certain weeds can start waking up, is you want to get the pre-emergent down. So I'm not sure where you are in the country, Jose. You didn't really say, but I'd say early next month, if you're going to do that, would be a good time. Can you do split applications? Yeah, some people do that. Some people do just one app, and some will do like an application in February, and then do another application late February anyway, and then do another application in March, April. You know, so that's totally a strategy that can work. On my lawn, the times when it's been done, it's just been one app, and it's worked pretty well. Can you put it in flower beds? Yes, I don't see why not. Be careful though, because pre-emergent can be stressful to the roots of certain types of plants. So I don't know what you have in your flower beds. On most turf grasses, they're fine as long as you use the recommended rate. But if you're putting it down in flower beds, I'd be a little bit more careful. I'd probably read the label and find out how that pre-emergent is, if it's safe for whatever plants you have growing in there. Because I wouldn't want you to put that down and destroy the roots and end up with a problem. So hopefully that helps. Congrats on the CarbonPro G, man. I think you're gonna like how that works. Richard Mathalus says, I live in Boston. Can I do a soil test even though the ground is frozen? I think, yeah. I mean, you could, if you get some soil up, if you get a good soil sample, sure, Ricardo, you absolutely do it. You can do a soil test. The one thing I would not do when the ground is frozen is do anything about the soil test, though, right? So if you can get, when you say frozen, if it's frozen like hard, like ice, then you're not going to obviously be able to get a good sample. But if there are portions of your lawn where you can get, you can use one of these guys. And if you guys are doing soil tests, get one of these guys. Like, I mean, the soil test kit is cool, but the probe is absolute money. You absolutely want to use one of these. They're super easy to use, and they make the job a lot easier. But use this to get cores from different parts of your lawn. If you're able to get them, send those in and get your soil test done. But if the ground is frozen, I would not do anything about it. I would not put I wouldn't even put lime down on frozen soil, because it's just not going to get absorbed. What's just going to end up happening if your ground is frozen, that means you're probably going to get another snow, which means that anything you put down is not going to be absorbed. It's going to run off. It's going to end up in sewers or in places where it's not supposed to be. So you can do the soil test, Ricardo. But I would not take any steps to amend or do anything about the results of that you get from that soil test until the ground is not frozen anymore. So hopefully that helps. Great question though. Great question. It'd be interesting to find out how long the ground in Boston is going to stay frozen for. I probably imagine February, probably next month. You should be doing okay. And Jose comes back again with another question. He says, "Hey, I have very heavy clay. You might be in Georgia." And he says he just put down gypsum and lime to help with soil and pH. Cool, man. Very good. That should do the trick. That should definitely help. Let's see here. Moving through the comments. Stan G says his goal is to aerate, to top dress his Empire Zoysia lawn and work my TruCut reel mower by mowing it in the 3-4-4-3 rotation days. That can work. The one thing you didn't mention was your height of cut. The thing that you'll find, even with Empire Zoysia, even though it's not like super fast growing in comparison to Bermuda, is if you start mowing really short, like in addition to having to mow more, the turf is going to thicken up. It's going to just get denser. So the one thing that you will want to consider, and something I'm going to start doing this upcoming season, is you might want to consider like verticutting the lawn, maybe every other month during the growing season. So let's say you're mowing at 1/2 inch, probably early June would be a good time to do it, and then again in say August, the beginning of August, just prevent to keep the lawn thinned out so you don't get it really super thick and you get that thatch buildup or the things that are just going to prevent you from getting a really really good cut. So just something to consider. But yeah, what your plan is, it looks pretty good, Stan. As far as the aerating and top dressing, the time to do that, and again, I'm talking like where I am in Georgia, depending on where you are, where the climate is, that's going to obviously weigh in. But if you're in my area, my plan for overseeding is to be in the first to mid part of May is when I plan to really go full tilt on the lawn, the verticutting, I might aerate before then, but as far as like the whole process of doing another aeration of verticutting, just kind of getting the lawn thinned out and prepped for overseeding, that's when I'm planning to do it. So you want the lawn to be growing actively enough that that it's going to recover quickly. And then, your mowing rotation will probably work. But again, remember, your mowing rotation is really dictated by the height of cut that you're trying to maintain. The shorter you're trying to keep your grass, the more often you got to mow it. And then if you want to not have to mow as much, you can use things like plant growth regulator. But again, that comes with other things where you have to start verticutting and things along those lines. So just know that I would not necessarily just be too hard fast on that 3-4-4 rotation. Like based on your height of cut, let that drive how often you mow. But thanks for sharing your goal and yeah, it sounds pretty cool. Let me know how your lawn develops. Kevin D says he already did a soil test that helped me with pounding the nitrogen, potassium, CarbonPro G. Going to change my name to CarbonPro G. Okay, all right, that will work. Let's see what other questions we have. Our Green Dynamics Lawn Care just came back. Tom actually says, my goal is to soil test to use my reel mower for the first time. I've been pulling down the CarbonPro G and L. So that's cool, man. It's cool. A lot of you guys are going to become first time reel mower owners and are going to get into to doing that. That's really awesome. You are going to like the results of that you get with the reel mower. Like again, after getting the soil where it needs to be, the most important thing is regular mowing. Like the more often you mow the grass, the better it's going to look. So, and for your particular grass type, so again, I'm assuming you've got a warm season grass that's designed to be cut shorter. In that case, like a reel mower is the right tool for the job. So good job on that, and I'm sure you're going to get a good result. If you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email or drop a comment in one of the videos, and I'll do my best to help you out in any way I can. Let's see. What other points do we have? So LG has a question. Hopefully it's not too tough. Sometimes he comes up with the really hard ones, but looks like he's being nice tonight. He says, does the MySoil test provide organic matter percentages, or is it strictly micro macros? So it's a great question, LG. It provides, it's purely macro micros and pH. So, so I guess the big thing is that if you, if you decide you're going to amend the deficiencies in your soil, let's say you're low on nitrogen, right? You can opt to use a more organic fertilizer to fix that. So I mean, some of the options that you'll often see, like in the MySoil tests results, there's going to be on, if you're looking at it, the right side is going to have like your actual numbers, and the lower left hand corner there's going to be links to recommended products. And not all of those are always synthetic. Sometimes there'll be organic offerings that can help with getting some organic material in your soil too. So it doesn't strictly give organic matter percentages, but sometimes the offerings that are, or the recommendations that are given, are organic products. So so hopefully that helps answer your question. I think on many ways, just kind of, based on what you're trying to do with your lawn care program, if you're more of a synthetic guy or organic guy, or if you're a mixture of both. And just by using that data, you'll be able to decide which product makes more sense based on what you are trying to do. Let's see. So Siddharth Sekar, let's see what other questions we have here. He says, I didn't put down pre-emergent this fall on my lawn. Is it a good idea to do it now? I live in Atlanta. Well, it's that ship's kind of sailed at this point. We're into winter, and spring's gonna be coming around here pretty soon. You can do it. I would probably just wait till next month, man. I would wait till like late February and just do pre-emergent then. So just do your spring app, because really anything that was going to germinate in your lawn in the late fall and in the winter is already growing. So if you're going to take care of, if there's any weeds you wanted to knock out at this point, you're going to be spot spraying. So I think that putting down a pre-emergent now with a goal of preventing weeds that are like ones that are more prone to come up in cool season with cooler temperatures is probably going to be, you're not going to be very successful with that. So just wait till next month, late February, and get your pre-emergent down for the spring and just and call it good. I really wouldn't push for it now. Let's see. Jay Pompano has a question. He says, can you direct me to a link or document to help me understand mixing liquid applications per square foot in a sprayer? Don't quite get it yet. Link that, Jay, that's a good question. That's a good point. So I am one of the videos that actually that's actually in the course that I'm putting together in here, golfcourselawn.com. If you guys are interested in getting notified whenever the course is ready, or enough of it's ready that I want to actually release it to you guys to get feedback, definitely check that out. But one of the videos is like there's a video that goes into excruciating detail on like backpack sprayers, on like how to measure, how to calibrate them, how to ensure that you're hitting that 1 gallon per square or per 1,000 square foot pace, like how to figure all that kind of stuff out. What I'll do, Jay, is that might be a video that I just make available on YouTube for everybody to check out. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. But if you want, just drop me a line, drop me an email here, and I might be able to help you out with understanding it a little bit better. There's other people that have done that. Alan probably has some videos on it. A lot of people have videos on measuring, on using sprayers and application rates. The big thing is, okay, in a nutshell, the big thing to keep in mind is that most products have a minimum dilution volume that they want. So in other words, they want a certain amount of water to go with the product per 1,000 square feet. So like the two sprayers that I have like a Flow Zone and I have a Chapin, both of which are 4 gallon backpack sprayers. So when I measure out product for using putting a liquid product in my backpack sprayer, I measure it out with the assumption that that backpack sprayer that's full of product is going to cover 4,000 square feet. Now, the way you know whether you're covering 4,000 square feet is, one, at some point you need to actually measure out your lawn, and you need to know how long it takes your particular sprayer, and that's something that's going to be in the course, at least an approximation based on my sprayers. Every sprayer is a little bit different, but you know how long it takes your sprayer at the rate that you have it set to, the pressure you have it set to put out 1 gallon of product. Because by doing that, based on that, you'll know how much time you have to walk 1,000 square feet. So that way, you're getting about the correct coverage. But in a nutshell, most products you're going to look at, they're going to expect you to mix a gallon of water with whatever the percentage rate happens to be for that product. For a good example, take like T-Nex, the plant growth regulator that I like to use, right? For my grass type, T-Nex calls for 0.38, we'll just call it 0.40 to make the math easy, calls for 0.40 ounces per 1,000 square feet, right? So in my case, in my backpack sprayer, I'll put in 1.6 ounces, so like 0.40 times 4, 1.6 ounces of the product mixed with 4 gallons of water, and that will cover 4,000 square feet. So you see how that works? So it's the mixing portion is not necessarily the hardest part. If you're really trying to be super particular, the thing you want to figure out is how long it takes your sprayer to put down a gallon of product which is going to tell you how fast or what kind of pace you need apparently or approximately to be walking to get down 1 gallon of the solution in your backpack sprayer over 1,000 square feet. So hopefully that helps. If not, feel free to drop me an email, ron@golfcourselawn.com, and I'll talk you through it. And again, I may make a video or shoot a spin off of that video that I make online. There's other people that have covered this content. Like what I'm going to be talking about isn't necessarily stuff that's new, but it's hopefully the way I just explained it will help with that process. But I'll be able to show you like what kind of a measuring cup to use, the one that I like, and all that. But I'll be more than happy to help you out. If you need it, but just let me know, because that's an important one. Like backpack sprayers are awesome because they give you so many more options as far as products to apply, but you do need to pay attention when you're using them. Let's see. So On the Lawn Training has a question. He says, Ron, how long should you wait after applying fertilizer and or carbon to take a soil test? Don't want the results to be distorted. That's a great question. I normally we'll give it a couple of weeks. The thing is, it's hard to say exactly how long it's going to take the soil to absorb whatever products you put down in it, which is why like doing it once a year really doesn't make sense. So the thing you could do is you could apply, you could put down, but carbon is not going to materially show up in the soil test results. But what you could do is, let's say we are in the first week of January, right? So you put down all your products down today. Not that you're going to do that, but let's say you did that. If you waited till the end of January to then take a soil test, that's going to give you a pretty good trend data. That's going to make it kind of unlikely that you're going to get like pearls and stuff like that of fertilizer in the results. And then 3 months from now, do another test and you can see where the data is going. So in other words, don't look at soil testing as like, I'm going to test the lawn once, and then what it comes back with, that's going to dictate my program going forward. It's all, you're following trends. So you test now and you test again in April, and then based on what you see from the test now, you'll make some amendments to the soil, and you'll test it in April and say, oh wow, things are moving in the right direction, or oops, I'm not moving enough, or oh, I went too far. So it's something that you need to incorporate into your lawn care program. It's not a one and done type thing. If you're serious about really getting the most out of your lawn, right? But a couple of weeks, to answer your question, a couple of weeks is probably a safe bet as far as the time between applying the whatever products you want to put down and then doing a test to seeing if it made a bit of difference. So great question. Let's see. We've got a super chat here. Guys, and I'm sorry that it's taking me longer to get to the super chats, really because I am, like, if I scroll all the way down and find them, it's hard for me to scroll all the way back up and find out where I left off. So I'm sorry for people that are doing super chats and I haven't been answering them as quickly as I normally do.
Super chat received.
So Leandro says, what is the most affordable powered reel mower? So in that category, you've got the California trimmers, you've got the McLeans, you got the TruCuts. Of those three, I would be more likely to get, like, I would quickly go for I can only go with based on what I've used. So I would be more quick to go for a pre-owned TruCut. With that mower, you're going to probably look to spend between $650 and $1,000 in good shape. So a mower that's not been abused, it's still got plenty of life in it. And that's what I would probably go with. So most affordable powered reel mower, there's offerings from California Trimmer, from McLean, but the TruCut is one that I particularly like. You can also pick up, here's the thing, man, if you're willing to look around, you can pick up a Greensmaster. There's guys you look on like the Lawn Forum and other places, there's guys that pick up Greensmasters for, $1,000, $1,500. So it depends on what you're after. And how much money you're wanting to put into the mower after you get it where it needs to be. So, but for $1,000, you can pick up a TruCut, a McLean, or a California Trimmer. Of those three, I would probably bias more towards the TruCut. But again, that's only because I've had one, and I like the operation system, the mode of operation on the TruCut more so than the other two. However, that said, there's people that have the trimmers and have the McLeans and get great results with them. So the idea is just get a reel mower. Any of those three, you're gonna be completely happy with as far as the results go. Let's see what other questions we have here. So Helmet Ruckus says, great answer. Now can you give me a good deal on a Swardman with reel mower? I wish I could, man. All I can tell you is go talk to Lee, Andrew, and Eric. They're really good guys, and they truly want to get people the right mower for for what they're trying to do, based on your grass type, based on your budget, based on what you're trying to accomplish. Just talk to them and let them and see. You never know, they may have some pre-owned units. You never know what you guys might be able to work out. But it's I would definitely consider the Swardman among the types of mowers that you are considering for purchase. I think it's a good product. It has a lot of flexibility, which you can't really overlook that. Let's see here. The Wind Chariot's talking about his Honda Rotary 217. He even sucked up a lot of sand from top dressing. Yeah. So there you go. So that's a good reason to keep a Rotary around, is in that you can use it for cleanup work. If for no other reason, that's a great reason to keep one. More, the people that are servicing my Greensmaster is Jerry Pate. They're like a Toro dealer, and like they do service for the Greensmaster. Now, if I were only going to do just sharpening, I would take it to Real Works and just let them deal with it. But what I'm having them do is go through and replace all the belts. Just get the mower in really good shape to where like I'm going to be good for several years of just only having to just sharpen the reel and bed knife after I get it back from them, because that's what they specialize in. I took the mower to them to have all that stuff done, because also they have all the parts to do it too. But for just grinding, there's a lot of people you can go to. Like again, Real Works will do a great job on that. But for full service, I took it down to Jerry Pate, or I had them come pick it up. And do it. So hopefully that helps. Dylan, no, my Super is not 700 horsepower yet. Probably will not get there. I can't imagine 700 horsepower with rear wheel drive and a car that small would be kind of scary. Let's see what else we got going on here. So Sidar Sucker says, today I bought a 2019 TruCut C27. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations are in order. I don't have my sound effects up, but that is an awesome mower. You are going to like that. Yay for the TruCut. He says, I plan to scout my yard this spring and then send it in for service. Do you know what service typically costs and where do you get it done? Great question. So if you are in Northeast Georgia area, my TruCut is going to go to Keystone in Duluth, Georgia. So Keystone, I think the name of the business is actually Keystone Rental. If you look up Keystone Rental, those guys work on TruCut. The guys that own it and work on this stuff are really great guys. They do great work. They turn stuff around pretty quickly. And then your plan, like what your process that you're going here is actually a pretty good one. So if the way you would do it is scalp, because scalping the lawn is going to ruin any kind of edge you have on the bed knife and reel, and then take it in for service. As far as cost, typically I get out of there for around $200. That's sharpening, then pressure washing the mower, full grease job, oil change, spark plug. That's all of it. New air filter. If you were strictly just going to get a grind done, I imagine they're probably going to be closer to the $100 range. But I mean, if you want the full Monty, everything done, get it all cherried up, you can, for around $200, you should be good to go. I will tell you that Jerry Pate is quite a bit more expensive than that. But I mean, again, it's like anything else, right? People that go out and they buy like a used Porsche and think that, oh, I've got a used Porsche for cheap, then I'm doing really good. No, not really. You still bought a car that's like, a 6-figure car. So the parts and service on it are going to cost like what they cost. So the Toro, I will tell you, is a lot more expensive to get worked on than the TruCut. So, but again, congratulations on it. It's an awesome mower. You are going to like it. And let me know if I can help with anything else. But as far as in the Northeast Georgia area, Keystone is where I would take it. That's where my mower is going to go after I scalp the lawn this spring. Let's see. So Wind Chariot says his lawn is also sloped and the sand washed down onto the sidewalk after a heavy rain. So frustrating after so much hard work. That's the thing, man. So when it comes to top dressing, especially on a slope, you got to be patient. Like if you guys remember last year, if you guys followed the content, I actually top dressed the front lawn twice. Like the first time I did a light top dressing to kind of do some contouring in that area where the tree used to be. And then later on in the season, around in July, when it was really hot and the grass was really growing aggressively, I let it get a little bit taller, and then I did a heavier top dress. So doing multiple light top dresses when you're dealing with a slope is usually going to yield a better result than trying to go heavy, because if you get any amount of rain, any kind of heavy rain, it's going to wash down. I mean, you're going to get less if you keep the grass a little taller, but just any kind of heavy rain is going to move the material around, and you're going to be out there, trying to even it out again. So what you're experiencing is not uncommon, unfortunately, Wind Chariot. If you're going to do it again this season, just go lighter, do multiple light top dressings. And that's going to get a better result. George in the house, Winchell Scott Lawn Care. Hey man, Happy New Year, man. Glad to hopefully you're doing well. Definitely gonna be checking out your live stream tomorrow evening. I saw you got the Lawn Care Freshman Club that podcast you're putting together. So I'm definitely gonna be checking that out. I think what time do you do that? I think it's like 7 your time or 8 p.m. my time. But yeah, I'll definitely be on there to see Brett get harassed more. That's always pretty entertaining. But yeah, I want to see hear the content. Let's see. Helmet Ruckus says, tip for Zoysia owners in here, specific products. LawnFi makes my life easier on product decisions. I'm not sponsoring or related to them, by the way. Maybe you heard of them, Ron. I have not heard, actually, I think I did hear about LawnFi. Aren't they the one that they send you like packages of products or something like that? Like you tell them what the kind of grass you have and they will send you like packages, almost like Shave Club or something, but for grass. If I'm thinking right, I think that's who you're talking about. I've not had any personal experience with them. But I mean, if it's working for you, that's cool. I'm glad that you're getting a good result with it. Let's see what else we have here. So Richie's saying he's doing a full generation this spring with GCI. Cool blue. That's pretty awesome. Sean Sands says that, hey, Ron, when does your Bermuda grass green up in the springtime? Also, what month are you going to aerate your lawn this year? Great question. So the answer is it depends. It depends on the temperatures, man. So once soil temps start getting above 50 degrees, the grass really wakes up and starts to do well. So really mid to late March, I'll probably start getting some green throughout the lawn, depending, again, on temperatures. It all depends on temperatures. And then by April, the lawn is typically doing pretty well. As far as when I'm going to aerate, the first aeration is probably going to be in April. Again, it depends on soil temperatures because you really want to aerate your lawn. The traditional guidance is you want to aerate your lawn when the grass is growing, when it's aggressive, well, not necessarily aggressively growing, but it's actively growing, because the lawn's going to recover faster from it. I've done experiments where I've aerated as early as March. And I've aerated as late as into May. And again with Bermuda, this is I have to qualify this with Bermuda. The lawn did well in both cases. So the traditional guidance is wait till like April, May to do it. But if you did it earlier, you're not really gonna hurt anything. The thing I like about aeration is that it really opens up the turf and really helps jumpstart getting any fertilizers or that you're putting down on the lawn in the spring down and working a little bit sooner. But traditional guidance is wait till the lawn's actively growing. With Bermuda, I've done testing where I've done March, I've done May, and it's been fine either way. So let's split the difference and say April. But again, it depends on temperature. When it's getting warm and the grass is growing, feel free to go to town. Okay, let's see what other questions we have here. Everyone wishing each other Happy New Year. Wise Guy says, I read that Zoysia doesn't require as much nitrogen as Bermuda. My soil results show I need nitrogen. How much nitrogen is too much in a year as far as Zoysia is concerned? That's a great question. I don't have Zoysia, so I'm not actually sure like how much is too much for Zoysia. With Bermuda, around a pound and a half per month is what typical guidance says. If you're not bagging your clippings, typically a pound is plenty. But it's so. Here's the thing, Wise Guy. Based on your soil test results, in the lower left-hand corner of the soil test results, my soil should have also given you some product recommendations that you can use to feed your lawn. So that's probably going to be a fairly safe bet. But I'll do some research and I'll get back with you, because I think I have your email. I'll look into that. That's a good question, because I'm sure other people are going to have that throughout the season. So I'll look into how much nitrogen we needed to get down on Zoysia monthly when it's actively growing, and I'll get you an answer for that. Great question. Great question. Let's see. So Wind Chariot says, yeah, to improve seed germination, the starter fert needs to be high in phosphorus for root growth. Yep, that's true. What about N? Not as important, but it's important. But not as important, but it's still good. I mean, pretty much most fertilizers that have any amount of phosphorus are also going to have N in it too. Says, will too high N harm seed, or should you spoon feed new seed? And how much does the soil test help? So, okay, so it's a lot in that. We'll unpack it. Yes, phosphorus does help with root growth, and it does help. It is good for germination. If you definitely want to have a phosphorus, a fert with phosphorus in it if you're going to be overseeding your lawn. As far as nitrogen, not as critical to new seed germination, but the issue with it is, and this is why I'm also going to be using PGR on my lawn, is that most fertilizers that contain phosphorus also come with nitrogen. Like it's not saying it's impossible to get them, but typically you're going to get some amount of nitrogen along with your phosphorus. Like one of the starter ferts that I've recommended that people have used in the past, like the one from Scott's, it's like a 27-28, I think. I think that's what the Scott's starter is. And so it's got a pretty good hit of nitrogen along with the phosphorus. So how do we get around that? That, in my case, is where like plant growth regulator comes in, because what I do want is the phosphorus to be there to feed the new seeds that are coming in, but I don't want the nitrogen to push growth on the existing grass. So the way you get around that is use like PGR as a hack, which is not going to affect the new seeds that are germinating, but it will slow down growth, or slow down top growth anyway, on the existing grass. So to answer your question in a nutshell, wind chariot is not going to harm anything. As far as spoon feeding, I mean, I don't know that it's honestly gonna make a material difference whether you spoon feed or not. A soil test will help because it will let you know. Let's say your lawn has right now. Say you've never soil tested your lawn, right? And your lawn is very, very deficient in phosphorus, and you're about to overseed. Like that kind of information would be useful to know what kind of fertilizer you want to put down to help jumpstart your overseeding project. Conversely, if your lawn already has plenty of phosphorus, maybe you'd put down a very light phosphorus, like a dusting of phosphorus. Maybe you go with a fertilizer that has a lower percentage, as part of your overseeding project. But the only way you know that is from the data that you get from a soil test. So as far as being helpful, yeah, they're extremely helpful. I mean, it's like literally the best $30 you can spend on your lawn, especially if you're doing this kind of thing. Because think about it, like if you factor in doing overseeding the right way, right? So you're going to be aerating the lawn, you're going to be thinning out the lawn by verticutting it. You're going to be putting down a fertilizer, and you may or may not even be putting on top dress or some kind of top covering to kind of cover over the seeds and whatnot, right? So there's a lot involved in that. Like the seed that I'm going to be using, that Arden 15, is like over $400 for a 25-pound bag of this stuff. So like $425 or $30. Like this is going to help me get the most out of all the seeds. So it's a no-brainer. Like you having the data to know what products to apply to your turf is invaluable. Like, I mean, you look at like golf courses soil tests. Like, I mean, a lot of like farmers soil tests, they all do it because like that's their business. Their business is growing in golf course, like growing really good grass for playing surface. For farmers, it's growing food products. In our case, we're farmers of grass, of turf grass, right? So having the data that you get from a soil test is going to let you know what product to give the turf to do as well as possible. So I think they're absolutely worth it, in my opinion. I think it's a great investment, especially for $30. Can't go wrong. Let's see. So what other questions do we have here? Gary Gale is talking about dormancy. He says it's half green. I think he's talking about his lawn. It's half green and half in dormancy. And is there any other granular fertilizer you can think to put down besides CarbonPro G? Because I live so far away from the stores that sell it. That's a good point. Good question, Gary. So, I mean, if you can't get CarbonPro G, there are products. I want to say Lawn Mastery carries from products that have like humates in it, humic acids in it, that are largely soil amendment type products. The reason why I'm a big fan of CarbonPro G is because it doesn't have any NPK, or not any material amount of NPK in it, which means you can apply it all the time. But check out Yard Mastery. I'm pretty sure Alan and them have something that's a similar product that's comparable, that will save you from having the drive to Site One to pick it up. As far as but I don't have a specific that I can give you because I haven't frankly used anything else as yet. It's something I need to look into. I mean, I've been on the CarbonPro G train here for the last, not quite a year yet, but last 8-9 months or so. But due to how difficult it is for some of you guys to get, I may have to start looking into to other options that people can actually get online. Because while it is a great product, there's other people that make products that are comparable to it, and that'll be easier for you guys to find. But check out Yard Mastery, see what they've got going on there, and they should be able to help you out. Let's see, Steven Velasquez, he says the question, he says, hey, Ron, can you describe when and how to use a lawn roller? I guess when you say a lawn roller, are you talking about like a heavy, like the big steamroller type things? I've used one of those one time on my lawn. Like one time one of the neighbors here had one for his lawn and he let me borrow it. It was cool. I think perhaps after top dressing, I should say this, after top dressing it would not necessarily be a bad thing, but I don't lawn rollers are really more of like a golf course green type thing for most turf grass, unless you're like really cutting it short, unless you're cutting like under half an inch. I don't know that you're going to get a ton of benefit out of it. to be completely honest. Plus, remember, like what a roller does is it's compacting everything. So it's you're getting the turf to be smooth, but you're also introducing a lot of compaction. So for a home lawn, I'm not a huge fan of it. Again, I've done it one time just to try it out, and I mean the results weren't super great. And I've never really looked into doing it again because again, I think you're kind of I think it's great for a playing surface like a golf green where it's literally like it's a playing surface where you need it to be hard. You want it to, you have very, very strict requirements on like, how the ball rolls on it and height of cut and contours and this kind of thing. I think rollers are great for that. But on a, as a matter of practice to always do on a home lawn, I'm not a huge fan of them because you're basically introducing compaction to get the lawn smooth, which is kind of not the best for healthy turf. So hopefully, sorry, I don't have a better answer for you, Steven. If that's what you're asking, I'm assuming you're talking about a big heavy roller. If you're talking about like a roller that goes on like the front of a mower, that's a different conversation. But just let me know, and I'll revisit it if that's not the correct answer. Okay, let's see. So Winchard has another point here. Question. He says, after seeding, I plan on covering the seed with a thin layer of peat moss and Landsea compost spreader. Your thoughts? Using an interesting point. I was talking. I saw a video that Alan did where they used I think peat moss. The thing with peat moss is that it's really really light. So I don't know how well it really is going to stick around. Doing a light top dressing is probably going to do is that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to use peat moss on mine. So I can only tell you, I can only go with what I'm going to be doing on my lawn. In my case, I'm going to be overseeding and I'm going to be doing a light top dressing on top of that. So, if you decide you want to use like a light compost or use a compost as your top dressing mix, that could work too. But peat moss in of itself is very, very light. I don't know that it's going to really stick around that long. Because remember, some Bermuda grass seeds take quite a while to germinate. Like Arden will come in 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, depending on temperatures and conditions. And peat moss, I just don't think is going to stick around on the turf for that long. So just something to consider. Let's see. What other points we have here, guys? Lots of comments tonight. Lots of questions. So we have a super sticker from Super TA.
Super chat received.
He went with the pear punching the air with a fist bump. It's pretty awesome. Super TA, good choice. So Michael Smith has a question. He says, Ron, I have sedge grass this winter and nothing has worked to remove it. Sedge hammer, dismiss. Is it possible the effectiveness is reduced by the cold weather? I'm in Texas. That's a great question, Michael. I've not treated nutsedge in the wintertime. We don't really have a problem with that on my lawn during the winter. But sedge hammer, and image are should do it, man. I mean that's a good combination. I mean, dismiss is like a step up. Dismiss is some pretty hardcore stuff. Like it's gonna like that should do the trick too. But I don't know. It's very possible that that the effectiveness is reduced by the fact that you're dealing with cool weather right now. I don't want to answer your question because I've never had to deal with nutsedge during winter months. I can tell you that a concoction that I know works well is sedge hammer and image, like image on the top, and then sedge hammer as well to try and kill the bulb, to kill what's underneath the turf. Like that concoction works well, but dismiss should also do the trick too. Dismiss is a little bit more hardcore than image is. So it's again, I'm sorry I don't have a better answer for you. It could be that it's cool weather, but what you're doing should work for sedge hammer. Let's see what other questions we have here. Keisha, bye for now. Thank you so much for stopping in, man. I appreciate it. So Jason Seabrick has a question. We're changing gears here. He says, you got any questions on resources for learning about cameras and using them effectively? YouTube, there's a lot of really, really good YouTubers on that talk about camera gear. As far as ones that I'd recommend, like Potato Jet is got some good stuff. Gerald is good. Who else has good content on cameras? As far as like the technology behind cameras, like understanding what aperture is and shutter speed is, and ISO and how those three work together for exposure and how to properly expose an image and those types of things. You can get a lot of that on YouTube, but a lot of it is learning just from doing, man. Like if you look at a good example, like I've got into my first cameras, like my first real cameras, in July of last year. If you look at my videos from July when I first started shooting with this, they were absolutely terrible. Like the exposure was wrong, was bad. Like I was using the wrong color profile. It was an absolute mess. Like they just weren't really good. Like if you want to see a good video of like exposure done wrong, go look at my video on soil pH and you'll see like how to not expose an image properly, which is why I probably need to remake that video at some point. But once you get an understanding of ISO, shutter speed, and aperture, like understanding how balancing light works in a camera and how to how to point the camera to get good exposure, how to like where the sun is based on where you want the camera, where you want the camera to be pointed based on where the sun is in the sky, those types of things. You'll pick it up, but it's a lot of it is just doing, man, just practice, because shooting the image, shooting the video is frankly, like the better job you do, the easier it is to edit. But like shooting the cameras is relatively the easier part to figure out. Like actually taking like all that footage and cutting it together into something that people actually want to watch. That's a challenge in itself too. So I would just say, get a decent camera, get into it, and just start doing it. Like and as far as what to spend money on, if I were you, I would go for a full frame camera. Like that's going to do better. As far as like lens choices, so buy a cheaper camera, but buy really good lenses. In other words, the saying is, date your camera, marry your lens. So buy really good glass, because that'll last for years. Cameras come and go all the time, but buy good lenses. Like spend more extra money on good lenses, and that's going to lead you a long way. So if you have any questions, man, or anything specific, feel free to drop me an email here, ron@golfcoursesalon.com. I'll help you out. But there's tons of great content on YouTube that can help out with that. All right. So let's see what other questions we have here. So on the lawn training says, Ron, I've heard you mention using your pre-emergent of choice in the spring and fall. Is there a specific rule to follow during those seasons to know when it's go time? As far as pre-emergent goes on the lawn training, around here, again, where I am, February, March is the time to get your pre-emergent down. Like once you get past March, like you're kind of in bad shape as far as preventing springtime weeds. As far as what most like the lawn care people around here, like the lawn care pros around here are doing, most of them are doing some kind of prodiamine in the springtime, and then like the ones that are using a better product are using the Spectacle Flow from Bayer in the fall. That's pretty much the two. So 2 applications per year, once in the spring, once in the fall, coupled with like other good, practices. So like good mowing and those kinds of things. And you shouldn't have a problem with a lot of weeds in your lawn. So if you do a proper pre-emergent in the spring and one in the fall, and you're mowing your lawn like you're supposed to, weeds really shouldn't be a huge issue. So that's if there's looking for a specific rule, that's it. Do it before soil temps get above 50 degrees. So again, around here in Georgia, like where I am in Georgia, that's going to mean February, early March at the latest. And then the fall, September, October is the time to get the fall application down. But that's based on where I am. It's all based on where you are in the country. LG says, hey, did you ever find out if the folks who sharpen your reel perform a spin grind or a relief grind? I believe they do a relief grind, LG. I will confirm with them, but when I asked, relief grind is what I was told is what's going to be done to the mower, to the Greensmaster anyway. For the TruCut, I'm not sure. I can ask them whenever I take it in on what they're doing on that one, but it's going to be a relief. So what other questions we have here? Bermuda Brian also agrees that the guys at Real Rollers are great guys. I agree with you on that, Bermuda Brian. And let's see here. Question from Papa Bo's Low. He says, I may not ask this right, but I've heard people say don't use products from just one group. I believe I heard mix group 3 with group 7. Can you explain what that means if you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, so when it comes to herbicides or even like pre-emergents, like they have different ways that they work, and the classifications of how the particular it's for everything. So for even like fungicides, right? How the active ingredient in like the pre-emergent or the fungicide works, they are classified in different groups based on the active ingredient. So when they say mixing it or varying it, mixing that up, that's why, like, for example, around here, they will do prodiamine in the spring and like spectacle flow in the fall, because they are from different groups. They work differently. They both achieve the same result, but they are not the same. They're not from the same groups, and as far as the way they suppress or they kill the weeds. For fungicides, how they kill the fungicides. The reason why you would not want to keep using the same one over and over and over is that what can happen is that the whatever you're trying to treat, in the case of like for lawn fungus as an example, that they can become resistant to it. In other words, if you're using the same product over and over and over, the exact same one from the same group all the time, in some ways you can almost become almost like a vaccine for whatever it is you're trying to treat. So that's why they say to vary products from different groups. So hopefully that helps. Papa Mows Low, on the label, it will tell you which group a particular product, whether it be a herbicide or a fungicide, which group it falls into, so you can know whenever you're staggering them, whenever you're doing, say you're doing one in the spring and something different in the fall, that you use a different one at the different times of year. So hopefully that helps answer your question. But basically that's what it means. It's the method of operation and how it's classified. All right, let's see what other points we have here. Tom K says, "I'm not sure if you covered this or much. When you're planning to use pre-emergent, which one do you use?" So so Barricade in the spring, or prodiamine in the spring, and then spectacle flow in the fall. As far as one that is common. The pre-emergent that I also like is the one that's in Weed Stop. So that's in this product. So if you're trying to do it yourself, you're not trying to go out and get a backpack sprayer and spend a ton of money on a liquid pre-emergent, you can go with this one for your spring pre-emergent. Like, this is actually a decent one, assuming that you apply it properly. You can get 4 to 5 months out of suppression out of it. So this is a good one. It's a good pre and post emergent product. And I believe the active ingredient in this one is dithiopyr, if I'm saying it right. This right here. Actually, you guys can't see that because it's covered up. This guy. I believe that's the active ingredient for this particular pre-emergent. But the most common ones that you hear most people talk about, if you're dealing with a liquid, is prodiamine, and then in the fall, if your budget can afford it, go with like the spectacle flow. That's also a really good one. Tom also asked, does sandy soil require aeration? I'm new to the South. Maryland, transplant into Florida. I can't see why not. I can't see why like I assume you're talking about hollow tine aeration. Yeah, I can't see why, even with a sandy soil, why doing that is not going to serve some benefits. It might not be as required as much as clay soil does, but yeah, I think any soil is going to benefit from being opened up. It's going to allow oxygen and water to get down into the surf, get below the canopy. So yeah, I would still do it. Lawn Whisperer, what's up, man? Hope all's going well. I know you're going to be on George's live stream. I'm not sure if you're up tomorrow night or some other night, but definitely looking forward to tuning in and seeing how that gets out. I got to get you on the show, man. It'd be cool to have you on here and get your insights, your thoughts on turf. I got to reach out to you and see if I can get that scheduled. Let's see who else we have here. What are the questions? So Papa Mo, let me take care of a super chat here from Papa Mows Low.
Super chat received.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the generosity. I truly do appreciate it. It helps me pay for my monthly carbon habits. So thank you so much for the generosity. I really appreciate it. Matt G says, when should I do a soil test on my Bermuda lawn? I was planning on doing it in February to prepare for the season, but wasn't sure if I should wait till closer to the growing season. You're in North Carolina. I would do one now, Matt. Reason being is if you're in North Carolina, the turf probably doesn't freeze where you are. And let's say you go into your soil test now and it's saying, hey, your pH is way out of whack. That's something you can absolutely begin correcting now, assuming your soil isn't your turf isn't frozen. So I would do it now. In other words, soil testing is not something that's like fertilizers or pre-emergent when there's a specific time of year when it's good to do it. Like, my recommendation is if you can swing it every 3 months is good, because it's going to allow you to get some good trend data. But yeah, I would do one now because if, again, we'll use the example. I always like to use the example of pH. If your pH is not where it needs to be, you can begin fixing that now versus waiting till the spring. And doing it, you're just that much further behind the curve, if that makes sense. So great question, Matt. I'm sure other people have asked about that. So let's see what else is going on. Wind Chariot saying PGR and overseeded Bermuda is a great idea. Thanks for the detailed answer. You're very welcome, sir. It's a cool thing, man. Remember, PGR is not only for like cutting down on mowing frequency. It's a tool, so you can use it to, in the case of overseeding, suppress growth. So it's as you get, it's kind of like what's this guy? The guy in Apollo 13 when he was talking about getting the astronauts back. Is you can't always look at what something was designed to do. You can look at what it can be made to do, right? What you can use it for. And even though overseeding is not necessarily strictly what most people think about when they think about PGR, it's definitely a good application for it. Let's see what else we have here. So Jay Pompano is asking about a product. He says, extreme grass growth liquid spray with fulvic and humic acid from Simple Lawn Solution claims to be a 619-0. And I was thinking about trying to get the phosphorus. What do you think about liquid P though? That's a good question, Jay. Every time I put down phosphorus, it's always been in granular form, but I see no reason why that product wouldn't work for what you're trying to do. I don't see why that would be a bad choice. Give it a shot, and do it. I mean, so what I would do is, get a soil test done before, spray the lawn with that, and then give it, again, a couple months, test again and see if the trend data for your phosphorus is moving in the direction that you're wanting it to. Again, I typically use granulars, but I don't see any reason why a liquid would not work well. It looks like it'd be a decent product. Great question. So Robert Mahora says, I'm in Raleigh and my Zion Zoysia has large patch, even though I've treated it with a fungicide. So here's the thing. When it comes to lawn fungus, and I'm sorry if I'm butchering up your name. I'm going to say Majoros. I think that's right. But if that's correct, if it's wrong, I'm sorry about that. When it comes to fungus, fungicide is one of the few things that I will apply every year as a preventative measure. Like I just don't want lawn fungus and grub worms are two things you just really don't want to ever have to get in your lawn, because by the time you discover that it's there, it's a headache to deal with and get rid of it. So what I would do is, assuming you applied the fungicide at the correct rate, because here's the thing too, kind of like what I was talking about in that last question about the different groups for products. If you put down a fungicide, you need to make sure that you're putting it down at the recommended rate, meaning that if you go light, that can prevent you from getting rid of, that can prevent the fungicide from working on getting rid of the large patch, and is going to make it more, and can make it more difficult for you to get rid of it in the future, because again, it can act as sort of a vaccine. So I would let's double check your application rate. Let's make sure that you put it down at the rate that you're supposed to. And if assuming you did, let's try a different one. Let's try a different fungicide that's designed to treat that particular lawn disease. The one that I really like, I'm trying to dig it up here. I think it's called Headway G. It has 2 active ingredients in it. Let me see if I can find the label for that. I think I kept that up. I did. Yay me. So this guy, Headway G, which is a product from Syngenta, this guy has 2 active ingredients in it. It has the, let me see if I can get it here on the screen where you can actually see it. There you go. It's got the azoxystrobin, I can't pronounce these words, and then the propiconazole. So it's got 2 different active ingredients that should take care of that should be a better option for what you're doing. I'm not sure which product you use. You didn't actually list it. I mean, disease, I think you're saying here you have Disease X, you can try that one. But this is a really, really good product, very well regarded, that should also help you with your fungus issue. So what I would do is look at what the product you put down, find out what the active ingredient is in that product, and let's try a different fungicide that has an active ingredient that's different to that one. So it's probably unlikely that the product you're using has both of these I just showed you in the Headway G, so that's probably going to be a good option, but just double check to make sure. Just find out what the active ingredient was in the fungicide and try a different one. But great question. I'm sorry you're dealing with that, man. I know lawn fungus sucks. I had it one time And I started using that Caravan G, which is like the combination insecticide and fungicide, and that knocked it out. And every year since then, I've made it a point to always put down a fungicide just to try and just to prevent it from having any kind of chance of having dealing with an issue with it. And I haven't had any problem since that one time. So. But let me know, man. Drop me an email. There's my email address, ron@golfcourselawn.com. If you have any questions, let me know how you get on. If you know, if you need help picking out a fungicide, reach out to me and I'll see what I can do to help you out. Sorry you are dealing with that. That is not fun. Let's see. So JG says, as long as you keep peat moss damp, it will stick around. I've used it for years in Northwest Iowa on top of seeds. So there you go. So you have someone that has used it very successfully, as long as you keep it damp. So thank you for chiming in, JG. Appreciate that. Let's see. John D says, mine answering my top dressing super chat comment above. Let me scroll up here and see if I can find it, John D. I hope I didn't miss it. Hopefully I answered it. Oh, here we go. Thank you. So John D, I apologize, man. I've been scrolling through. I did not ignore it on purpose.
Super chat received.
So his question is, need a top dress Bermuda, sand or bag soil? The answer is yes. It's not either or. I would do a mixture of both, John. Again, apologize for that. What I would do is a combination of sand and soil, 70% sand, 30% topsoil, if that's what you decide you're going to do. Alternatively, if you don't want to deal with topsoil, you can use some kind of one of the like CarbonPro G or one of the other bagged soil amendments. That will work well too. The one thing you have to be careful of if you go with topsoil is be careful where you're getting it from, because with topsoil often comes seeds, comes weeds, right? So just realize that if you do with topsoil, the likelihood of you also introducing weeds into your lawn as part of the top dressing process is more likely. So make sure you use like some screened, highly, some better like high grade topsoil. But again, I've never not had a slight increase in weeds after top dressing. It's always happened every single time. So just something to consider. If you've not, if you're not fully sold on using bagged soil, perhaps using again like a CarbonPro G, assuming you can get it nearby, and then just 100% river sand or masonry sand is probably going to end up with you having less weeds in your lawn. So, but again, I apologize for that, man. If that was the question you needed an answer for, hopefully that did it. If not, let me know and I will definitely revisit it. Again, my sincerest apologies. Let's see. So Tom K saying that images worked really well for his sedge. Yeah, man. So image has been my go-to. Like I've tried image and I've tried ortho, and the thing with the image is it takes a little longer to work, but it's kept the sedge away and the nutsedge away a lot better than the ortho did, and it doesn't discolor your grass quite as bad. Let's see what other questions. Jason talking about phone stuff. Yeah, man, I use my phone up until July of this year, so you don't necessarily need to absolutely use a super high-end camera. It looks better, but a phone will work. Focus on good audio. Audio is more important than video. LG with the super chat, man. Thank you so much.
Super chat received.
So the weekly live stream is about to, as close as I get to going to church. I guess it's time to pass around the collection plate. Well, thank you, LG. I truly do appreciate the generosity, sir. I really do appreciate it. And I got to work. I got your email about the issue with that sticker. I got to get another one out to you. I just seeing your comment reminded me that I got to get that done. I will get that done this week. Getting a replacement sticker out to you. So let's see what other questions do we have here. Okay, so on the lawn training asked a question about fertilizer. Should be a good one. He says, I heard you mention Country Club fertilizer from Lebanon Turf. Which specific one do you use on your lawn and why? So the one that I use, it's a 22016, I believe. The reason why I use that one is because it's the one that I can get around here. The Country Club is actually pretty hard to come by. Like as far as places locally that actually carry it, I actually have to have a local shop bring it in for me to get it. And the reason why I like that one is because it doesn't contain any phosphorus. So my lawn has enough phosphorus. So it has it's got the nitrogen enough to feed the lawn well. and it's got the potassium just to help with overall plant health, with grass health. So the reason why I like the Country Club, because there's two fertilizers from Lebanon Turf that I've used and I'm a really big fan of. There's the Country Club, which is really, really awesome. And there's also their other fertilizer that you guys have probably seen me mention. You probably saw when I was doing Alex's lawn. It's called ProScape. And the ProScape is, I think it's a 2505, I believe. I don't remember the exact numbers, but it's got less potassium in it than the Country Club. The nice thing about the ProScape is it's a little bit cheaper. And if you don't have super tight turf as yet, so let's say you're not really cutting your lawn really low, and you're worried about being able to get that prill down in contact with the soil, the ProScape is going to work just fine. You'll save a little bit of money. The Country Club, the thing about the Country Club that's nice is it has like an SGN, a size guide number of like 80. So this stuff is like almost like a powder. It's very, very fine. It's designed to be used on golf course greens. So regardless of how tight your turf is, it's a product you're going to be able to put down, and then it's going to get down to the ground, to the soil a lot easier. As far as comparing the two, they both have really high quality nitrogen in them. The Country Club also contains some kelp, which is nice as well. So it's just overall, it's a higher quality product. They're both excellent. Like the ProScape is an excellent product. It's like which one should you get? Yes, they're both excellent. The ProScape is good. The Country Club is better. But they're both excellent products. They're really designed for different purposes. The ProScape is more of a residential, like sports fields type product, whereas the target audience for the Country Club really is like golf course greens based on the size of the prill. But either one will work. You will get a great result with either product. They're both really excellent products. Can't recommend them enough. I absolutely love Lebanon Turf's their stuff. Great question. Okay, let's see what other questions we have here. Helmet Ruckus says, "Do soil tests have an expiration? I got a 5-month-old unused one. I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of. I mean, I would use it now. 5 months is plenty fine, I'm sure, because you have that you have the deionized water, and then you have the ion exchange resin. I don't know if the resin has any kind of shelf life. I've never been told that it does. That's a good question. I'll have to find out and get an answer for you. But 5 months is still fine. There should be no issue with using one that's been around for 5 months. I would use it and see what kind of numbers you have, man. That one should be no issues at all. Okay, so what other questions we have here? We got one from Lake House Lawn Care where he asks, "Ron, thanks for your info about reel mowing after top dressing with sand. I'm top dressing with sand for the first time, and I was worried about filling my reel and bed knife." Yeah, I mean, it's again, man, you can regrind afterwards. You can sharpen afterwards, or just simply raise it up a notch. I mean, if you're really worried about having to take your mower and getting it resharpened right away, I would just raise the height of cut. Go up a 1/4 inch. If you're cutting at 1/2 inch, go up to like 3/4 of an inch, like 0.7, 0.75, and you should be good to go. That is what I would do to make sure. And one thing you can also do too, if you want kind of a cheat, something I did with the Greensmaster when I top dressed the back, is the first time, assuming you're using a mower that you can disable the reel, and most of them you can, the first time, just take the mower and roll over, like use the powered part of it, just roll over the top dressed areas of your lawn without the reel spinning. Right? So in other words, you're kind of using it to using the front roller to kind of knock down any high spots, to kind of smooth things out. You're almost using it kind of as a lawn roller. And then once you're done with that, hose it off, like hose the reel off, hose the bed knife off, because even though it's not spinning, it's still going to probably pick up some debris. Then raise your height to cut up, and then cut it, and then cut with it, and that's gonna minimize how much sand you get into the mower. So if you're willing to do that, it's kind of an extra step. But like using your mower using the weight of the mower and that front roller is almost like a drum to kind of like smooth and knock down the little high spots you got from top dressing, is also going to minimize damage or wear to the reel and bed knife. But your best bet is also to raise the height of cut just a touch. And that's going to help you. That's going to do really well. That's what I do with my Greensmaster, and I was able to go the rest of the season without resharpening. So it worked well for me. Great question, sir. Great question. Let's see. What other questions? I think we are coming down, guys. Starting to wind down. I'm talking to you guys out. Let's see here. And just Steam says, here for the lawn tips. You're a lifesaver for grass. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. And if you guys have not seen, shameless plug, if you guys have not seen the video that I just put out today, which I think is I mean, I thought it was kind of fun to make. The one on 3 tips on how to improve your lawn, that does not matter whether you are dealing with a warm season grass or a cool season grass, or even if it's wintertime, things you can do that will help improve your lawn. Feel free to pass that around. Share that with friends, family, anyone else that you can think could benefit from it. Right there. But thank you, Steam. I really appreciate it. I'm glad that you guys enjoy watching the content and that you're getting some value out of it. I mean, it's a lot of what I've learned is from trial and error and just doing research and standing on the shoulders of giants, people that have came before me, and then I've watched a lot of what they did and just done experiments to try and improve on processes. So I'm glad that you're getting some value out of the content. Let's see. He says, Steam says, you subscribe as a joke, but I've been legitimately helpful. I don't know. I guess thanks. I'm glad that, the joke was, the content was good enough that you stuck around even after subscribing as a joke. I appreciate it. Papa Losmo, you got to go. You can listen to George tomorrow. That's awesome, man. Thank you for stopping in. Let's see, what other points do we have here, guys? We're winding down. Yeah, John. Yeah, I do apologize about that, man. I didn't mean to skip your super chat. Just you're incoming. You're very close. It sounds like you have access to CarbonPro G. Well, that we'll go with that and sand. That's a great option, man. Because I think if there's a site one near you, you can pick up the CarbonPro G there, John. And yeah, that's as far as like a great source of organic material that is not going to add weeds to your lawn, that will work well with top dressing. Like that is what I would do. Like literally this next spring, that is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to see if I can get my hands on some USGA sand. If I can find someone around here that has it, I'm going to use some USGA sand for the top dressing sand, like the actual top dressing medium. And I'm going to be using CarbonPro G as the organic component of it. That is the plan anyway. You never know what can change between now and then, but that is the current plan. Guan Win has a question about PGR. It says, best value or product for PGR can I use on a pump sprayer? Great question, Quang. So as far as PGRs, the ones that are most commonly used in the home lawn care community, and the one that I actually like quite a bit is one called T-Nex. It is a generic version of what was called Primo Max. It's like a generic version of Primo Max. The active ingredient, and if you decide you're not going to go with T-Nex, the active ingredient in T-Nex is trinexapac ethyl. Let me see if I can find it here. I think I might have a link here for it too. Maybe not. Maybe not. But anyway, the idea behind T-Nex is, yep, here we do. I'll put these in the chat for you so you can use either one of those. But the idea is T-Nex, a typical application of it, right? Take for example, my lawn, right? The amount of T-Nex that you mix per 1,000 square feet for a gallon with a gallon of water is very, very slight. So you take like a gallon of product, which I think is 128 ounces, fluid ounces, thereabouts, right? 1,000 square feet for most grasses takes a quarter of an ounce of T-Nex. So let's say you have a 4,000 square foot lawn, you're going to use 1 ounce of T-Nex to treat your entire lawn. So it's like technically 128 applications, right? So it's one bottle, one gallon bottle. I just linked it there in the chat for you. Goes a really long way. T-Nex can typically be picked up for around $150 thereabouts. Sometimes you can get it on sale, but $150 is typically a pretty good number for it. And yes, you can use it with a pump sprayer. Like when you say a pump sprayer, I assume you're talking about like a pump backpack sprayer, right? If you're talking about a pump sprayer, like one of the ones like the ones that people often use for herbicides. I've never used one of those. You might want to find something that you can get a fairly consistent pressure out of, because with plant growth regulator, it's not one of those things where you want to go heavy. You literally want to follow the rate, or if anything, go slightly less. But going heavy on PGR is not a good idea. If you do that, you're gonna seriously yellow your grass, and it's just gonna cause problems. The thing with T-Nex, the things to be aware of when you apply T-Nex as far as a PGR is the first time you apply it, you are going to get a little bit of yellowing or bronzing of the grass. That typically lasts for a week if you don't cut your grass, or it'll last until the first time you mow it. The first time you mow it, that will knock that bronzing off, and it'll be just fine. As far as a concoction that I found that works really well to prevent that, if you use T-Nex and you use a very low nitrogen liquid fertilizer with a splash of iron, the one that I've used is one from Brandt. It's called Supreme Green, but also Simple Lawn Solutions makes a product that can also work well too. But really, all you're looking for is a low nitrogen. The keyword here, low nitrogen liquid fertilizer that contains just a little bit of iron in it. If you mix that in along with your T-Nex application, that in many cases will prevent that yellowing that you get to the grass. And again, it's very temporary. You're talking about a week, but if you don't want to get any kind of yellowing at all, try mixing a little bit of liquid fert along with it. As far as things to know about doing PGR, some people use growing degree grass days, like they use apps, the Greenskeeper app, to know like exactly how long and how often to reapply it. I don't do that. I just simply just do it monthly. So T-Nex, Ternexapac ethyl, when applied at the correct rate, has suppression, suppression is the wrong word. It regulates growth for 3 to 4 weeks. So by that, every month, I just do another application. At the beginning of the month, I put down my carbon. I also just put down PGR, and that's worked really well for me. If you really want to geek out, there are apps you can use that can tell you within a couple of days, when you need to reapply it. But the stuff like per application is so inexpensive that it's easier just to have the beginning of every month or the end of every month, whatever works for you, or the middle of every month, depending on when you do it. Like, this is when I reapply my PGR during the growing season, and you should be good to go. As far as when I start applying it, I started applying a PGR in April, so like mid to late April is when I'll do my first app, and I apply it all throughout into the fall. I do it monthly, and it does a good job keeping, suppressing that growth. So I know that was a very long-winded answer to your question, but I really like PGR, and no one has asked about it tonight, so I figure I'll answer some of the follow-up questions you might have. A pump sprayer can work, but just make sure you use a good quality one. Like, don't use, I would invest in probably an electric one if you can swing it, like the Chapin. That's a decent one if you're trying to not spend too much money and get something that you can start with, or like one of the backpacks, the ones from Still, like those pump ones, like the more commercial grade pump ones are good. But I'd be a little bit leery about using the ones that are designed to spray insecticide, because I think the pressure differences, the pressure variance throughout as you're spraying, could cause problems with uneven application. So, great question. I hope that was useful to you. And let me know if you have any questions about PGR. If you do, like that, if that didn't answer your question, and all my content on PGR also didn't answer your question, feel free to hit me up at ron-henry.com or ron@golfcourselawn.com. There's my email address. Feel free to use and abuse it if you need any other questions. Let's see. Chopper Star has a question about Celebration Bermuda. He says, I'm sodding that in South Florida. Should I wait until it's warmer, or should I just get it done? Soil temp is 62 degrees. That's a great question. I have not, I'll tell you this. The sod that was put down on my lawn was done in the winter. It was done like right around right now. So it was done when the soil temps were like in the 30s or 40s. So for Bermuda, I don't think it really matters. I think it'll grow in just fine. Because you're not dealing with germination, we're not trying to plant seeds, you're actually putting down sod, you said, it's probably going to be okay. But I mean, are you doing it, or are you having an installer do it? Like, an installer should be able to tell you when the recommended time is. But I can tell you that around here, like when they were building out this neighborhood, they were sodding lawns at all different times of year, and all the grass, and it's all Bermuda, and all the grass grew in just fine. So unless there's something very specific about Celebration, I kind of doubt it. You should be fine to put that in now if you want. Again, 62 degrees is not very cold. So I would, if it were me, I would go for it. I'd absolutely go for it. Travis, thank you so much for the super chat, sir. I really, really appreciate the generosity and support.
Received.
Yeah, man, I'm glad the channel is growing too. It's getting there, man. I'm thinking once like the temperatures pick up a little bit more, and we get a little more heat and people are out working in their lawns, like lawn care content in general is going to do better on YouTube. But in the meantime, just keep helping you guys out, and just keep answering questions. That's what we are here for, right? So subscribers are a byproduct of being helpful. So I'll just keep at it. Let's see. Good question here. Another question from Joshua Chase, and he says, I'm having issues with moles digging tunnels through my zoysia. Any advice to get rid of them? Moles, yes. I've gotten this question before, and the product, I think I've got it up here. Let me find it. I think it's called Talprid. Yeah, this stuff here. Let me bring it up here on the screen for you, Joshua, so you can take a look here. So the Talprid mole bait, like this stuff is very, very well regarded as far as being a poison or that will kill moles. It looks like grub worms. And this is something they'll pick up and it will kill them. There's a very specific way you need to apply it, which is on the label. So make sure you read that if you decide to pick this up. But this is something that you can use to get rid of moles in addition to going after their food source. Like a lot of people say, go after the mole's food source, like that will do it. But that oftentimes is not enough. Like in addition to getting rid of the grub worms, like like poisoning them is something you also need to do too. Because remember, moles don't only eat grub worms. They eat other insects too. They eat earthworms and other things that are in the soil that insecticides that are designed to target grub worms will not kill. So in addition to getting rid of grub worms, which you want to get rid of anyway because they can damage your lawn, using a specific insect or a specific poison for the moles is going to work well. So check that out. It's called Talprid. I put a link here that can also help too for other options that'll help. And let me know how you get on. That should take care of it. Moro says, would you ever consider trying out a Lesco spreader? I keep seeing smaller Lesco spreaders at Site One. I would. I would consider trying one. I mean, they make a really, really nice spreader. But my Earthray's still working. So until the Earthray breaks, I kind of, it's kind of hard to justify going out and getting a Lesco. They are sweet though. I gotta admit, I have to hand it to you. They are very, very nice spreaders, but I mean, I don't see the need to go out and just buy one of those. Considering the one that I have is still working fine. Jay, I'm glad you enjoy the Friday night live streams, man. I'm glad you guys are hanging out here and watching. Let's see. Super TA saying your live streams during the off season is a lifesaver, keeps me motivated. Greatly appreciate it. It's a lifesaver for me, man. It allows me to find out what other people are working on and answer questions, keeps me sharp. And it's a cool way just to interact with you guys. It's one thing to create videos and put them out there and just kind of hope people are watching it. But it's another thing to actually be able to get in here and answer your questions. And you guys challenge me and make me go out and do more research, which is really awesome. So it's helping you guys and it's also helping me too. So I really appreciate you guys taking some time out of your Friday evening to hang out with me. Let's see. So on the lawn training says, I heard you mention the previous live stream of scalping the lawn in the spring. Is this specific to Bermuda or all other warm season grasses too? It's something that I typically see being done on Bermuda and like Zoysia. I don't know that, it's a good question. I don't know if people actually scalp like lawns like St. Augustine, because some grasses you really can't cut them super low. Like you'll kill it. You'll do permanent damage to the grass by doing that. I know for Bermuda, it's definitely a thing to do to get rid of like the dead top growth that's on the grass and to kind of get things prepped to encourage new growth. That's why we do it. You get rid of the dead stuff and it encourages the grass to start producing new leaf, which gets us the green lawn. But I would not be so quick to say that it applies to all warm season grasses. I'm almost going to say no, it probably doesn't. Check out Alan's content. Check out the lawn care net. I'm not sure what kind of grass you have on the lawn training. But St. Augustine, I don't know that I've ever seen a video of him actually scalping his St. Augustine. And I don't know that would really go well. With Bermuda, no problem. But again, Bermuda is actually not a great grass to be able to use as a litmus test of what you can get away with on a lawn, because Bermuda is incredibly difficult to kill. It's a really, really hardy grass. Like a lot of diseases that other grasses get are susceptible to, Bermuda isn't. A lot of funguses that other grasses get, Bermuda doesn't really suffer from them as much. So it's like to say that, yeah, you could do it with Bermuda, so it should be okay with everything else, doesn't really hold. But for Bermuda and Zoysia, like, cutting it a little bit lower to start stimulating new growth is a common practice in the Southeast United States. It's something we do, and it's something I've always done, and it works well. You don't have to strictly do it. There's a lot of people around here that never scalp their lawns. And their grass turns green. It just takes longer. It will green up. It will green as soon as the soil temps get warm enough that the grass you're starting to see green. Scalping the lawn, what that does is going to encourage new growth. So the lawn's going to get greener sooner. That's why we do it. That's why I do it. So, but it's not strictly necessary. But great question. Great question. Yeah. So here you have Chopper style here chiming in saying, "Don't scalp buffaloes." See, there's certain grasses I know that if you scalp them, you'll kill them, right? Like some of the cool season grasses, I believe, if you scalp them or if you cut them too low, you might not kill them, but you're gonna do damage that might require seeding to correct. So, great question. Well, guys, I think we are at the end, man. It's been 2 hours, and I think I've talked you guys out. You guys have talked me out. It's been an awesome live stream. I'm glad you guys still came and hung out. I know Alan wasn't here. It was not as entertaining, but it was a great time. I really like getting through here and answering your questions and hearing what you guys, what projects you guys are going on about. If there's anything I can help with, definitely feel free to drop a comment on one of the YouTube videos, even if it's not related to that video, because I try and go through all my comments every day to see if there's any new ones to answer them. If you have any specific questions and you don't want to leave them in the comments, feel free to drop me an email here at ron@golfcourselawn.com. Also, if you're interested in the course that I'm working on, that I'm building out, it's actually coming together pretty nicely. I'm liking how it's going. Feel free to check out golfcourselawn.com. That is where you can drop your email address in to be put on the list to be notified whenever I have enough of the course done that I want to get it out for field testing, for beta testing, to see what you guys think, get some feedback. I promise I won't use your email address for anything else other than that. So if you're interested in that, feel free to do so. I'd really appreciate it. Guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. Please like, share. If any of you guys are watching and you're not yet a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Helps me out, helps, get the numbers up a little bit more. And on your way out, be sure to hit that like button. We've had a lot of views tonight. I got 67 likes, but I think I can even get that like count up a little bit. So if you've not hit the like button, be sure to do that. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great weekend. I will see you next time. Take care.